Okay, hey everyone. Hopefully you all can hear me. My name is Kai. I think my microphone might be a little bit on the low side. But yeah, hopefully all you guys can hear me. My name's Kai. Like I said, I'm going to be hosting today's webinar, SkinGen webinar. This is our second SkinGen webinar. We had our first one on Tuesday, where we kind of talked about the basics of SkinGen and how to do, how to kind of get a character started, basically introducing the UI and all that stuff. And in this webinar today, we're going to be talking about something a little bit more dark. We're going to be I'm going to show you my browser here. We're going to be talking about a couple of the more advanced features, not really more advanced, but we're going to talk about kind of how to make a character that looks a lot more ugly and dramatic. We're going to be creating an orc character in this case. And there's a couple of content packs that I will kind of introduce you to a little bit later on. But yeah, thanks so much for everyone for attending. This is the outline we're going to follow today. And as always, we are recording this. We're broadcasting it on YouTube and we are recording it. We are going to be having a Q&A session at the very end. So if you have any questions, please put those questions in the Q&A section of your Zoom panel there. And I will get to those after the webinar. All right, and we are going to be sending out a survey again, and if you fill out that survey for us, it gets you a 10% discount from the content store. So make sure you check your emails for that survey, and we'll go from there. What else is there to say? Let's see. Yeah, this is basically the outline. If I'm missing anything, we do also have a content store weekly special, like I want to point out to you guys here. I'm going to put this link in the chat window. If you're missing some dragons in your project, this is a pretty cool dragon pack you can get, down to like $9 from 89. Why not, right? It's a cool dragon asset you can use wherever you want. Let me just find my chat window here. Where did you go, chat window? Oh, the Zoom chat window is not even showing up. Let me. There we go. Okay. Always have trouble finding that chat window for some reason. All right, there we go. It's in the chat window. Don't put your questions in the chat window, by the way. I'm going to be answering questions from the QA window there. All right, so back to the browser really quickly here. So yeah, this is a cool content weekly store special here. I'm going to be using content from this content pack here. This is a great, I know a lot of you, especially interested in SkinGen, are also users of ZBrush. And this is a great series, a ZBrush pipeline learning videos. This is like 66 videos in this course, basically. And it's done by my good friend Christian, ZBrush, a longtime ZBrush artist. And he'll kind of take you through the pipeline, take you through the process of exporting your CC3 character into ZBrush and then bringing it back. He also uses like Marmoset and other tools as well to kind of create that the character that we're going to get in the end of this webinar today. There he is right there. Okay, I'm going to put this link in the chat window as well. There we go. I think I just have to do this. There we go. So this is a pretty cool pack, and you get some free assets at the end of it. You get this ogre character. You get this, where are the characters down here? Yeah, you get this ogre character. You get this orc character. Our ending character in today's webinar is going to look like this orc here. And then you also get this kind of cartoonish like Jesse Toon character right here as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the live demo here. This is the stuff we're going to talk about. You've probably already read through this, so I don't think I really need to go through it again here. I'm just going to close down my Creator 3. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our character's body. Generally, you want to kind of get the body shape correct first. And we have our default character on the screen right now. So if you're not familiar with morphs, you can go over here to the morph tab. And you'll find a whole bunch of morphs here. Depending on how many packs you've purchased and what content you have, you'll have different folders and everything here. So what I'm going to do is just go to body. And down here, under full body, we actually have an orc preset. So when you purchase that learning pack, you'll get this ZBrush Learning Assets pack right here. And I'm just doing this as kind of a shortcut. Otherwise, I'd be spending like probably, hours and hours modeling my character to get the correct body shape and everything like that. And here it's all done for you. And I'll show you. We're about to see an orc in a bra and underwear in just a moment here. But what you want to do first is you want to go up to this item right here, currently used, and you want to take these values down to 0. This is the default character, okay? So if you want to like look at the morphs that you're currently using, you can go up here to currently used. and just take these down to 0. Okay, you'll see her face will change shape slightly, and then her body will change shape. All right, so this is our androgynous character right here. No gender on this character right now. And then we're going to throw on that orc preset. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and bring that up. And there you can see she gets a lot meaner and a lot fatter and a lot more muscular. And the orc looks kind of crazy in those in that bra. So we'll kind of take that off, I think. Okay, we'll take the underwear off there as well. And we have some assets that I'm going to throw on this character. If you go over to our content manager and under shirts, we're going to throw a couple of things onto the character. Shirts. I have a pack that from Surge 3D developer. You can purchase this at the content store as well. We have this leather item on the. We're going to put this on the top of our character. We're going to keep cloth shape in this case. We actually have a tutorial that's coming out really soon that talks about keep cloth shape and fit body shape. So be on the watch for that. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel there. And we'll just throw this on. We're going to need to resize this slightly because obviously this ogre is too buff for his own good. He's too buff for this item of armor here. So what we're going to do is we're going to just go over to our modify tab under attributes. We're going to go to conform, and we're going to increase the size. Okay, we can just increase it slightly so it's covering his nips. All right, and there we go. All right, and that's a good size for this item here. And then we'll throw on some like a kind of belt shorts thing as well. Okay, so we're going to go down to pants. And the same pack, Surge 3D Barbarian Leathers. You can probably just search for this in the content store under Surge 3D, and you can find it easily. I'm not going to search for it right now since we have other things we need to get taken care of. So we'll just throw that on there. And it should pop up any moment. And once we get to our skin editing, okay, there you go. That looks fine. Don't really need to modify that at all. Once we get to our skin editing, then we're going to, this is going to disappear in SkinGen. So whenever I have a setting, if you go up to project settings, I believe, or is it preferences? Always mix those two up. There is an option, yeah, when you're using the SkinGen editor, dynamic texture editor here, you want to deselect show clothing and accessories in skin edit mode just because it saves a little bit of resources. I always have that selected. I'll just go ahead and close that down. That is in your preferences. Okay, and we're going to talk about, we're going to add a little bit more accessories a little bit later on as we finish up the ogre here. But we have the basic shape. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some teeth in there as well. So under our base here, we're going to go to the teeth section. And under teeth, we have the ZBrush Learning Assets. That's eyes, actually. Go to teeth. There we go. We have the teeth there as well. We'll throw the eyes in a little bit later. We're going to throw in those orc teeth. And we'll just replace the current ones since they are very different from the default ones. They have two incisors or whatever you want to call them popping out from the bottom. And then we'll just throw in those eyes as well. You saw the eyes I just kind of showed you earlier. We'll just go ahead and throw those eyes in there and replace. Fine and dandy. All right, so, you know, just a different color, not much of a difference. We're going to fix these eyes a little bit later. You can see the morph is a little bit strange around the eyelids, and we're going to fix that in just a moment here. All right, actually, I think that's what we're going to fix next here. So we're going to go to our morphs. Again, under modify, go to your morphs tab, and all sorts of different morphs here we can modify. I'm going to twirl them all up for now just so it doesn't look so intimidating, just like this. All right, and we're going to focus on the head of our character. And in particular, I'm going to use the headshot head section here. So if you purchase the headshot plugin, you'll get a whole bunch of new different morphs that are a lot more detailed, a lot more specific than your traditional morphs. So I'd recommend checking that out. And under headshot, we will have, let's go to eye, and there is a section for eyelid. All right. And you can see only for the eyelid, there's like dozens and dozens and dozens of morphs here on the right side. Okay, I can make the window a little bit bigger so you can see the full naming conventions. Yeah, we're going to look for one. There's inner eyelid depth. Okay, and you can just type in here like depth just to find the eyelid depth. And this is one way you can kind of fix this. So there's eyelid rim, eyelid inner depth right here. You can see this slider. And if we zoom in a little bit closer on the eyes, so what we want to do is get rid of that kind of artifact on the edge of the eyes there. You can see that little kind of area there. So we can actually increase that or decrease it, okay? Just like that. You can also manually adjust the mesh as well. Not good enough for you. You can kind of further decrease it by using this slider as well for the left and for the right. Okay, so we can do that, or if we wanted to, we can also use we can do manual editing using the mesh. Okay, so if I had this, where was it? Somewhere around like 15, I think. If I wanted to get rid of that manually using the mesh, I can go to the rather modify attributes, and we can go to make sure we have the eye selected. Okay, so I'll make sure we have base eye selected here, and then go to modify, and we're going to edit mesh, and you just want to maybe select all of it like this, and you can use a W hotkey to push it in or pull it out a little bit. You can just get rid of the artifact that way as well. All right, and you can also use face, and there's also, I think we need to select the eye occlusion. So this is a secondary. This is the part here that we want to kind of move as well. All right. So this eye occlusion, if we make it invisible, you can see it gets rid of it. So this is just kind of a layer that goes over top of the eye that is used for different reflections and stuff. This eye occlusion layer here, so we can go to we can make that invisible, or we can actually move the mesh separately. You can see it over here, and just select it here and kind of move things in and out or whatever. Okay, just to get that in the correct position. All right, I think we'll just kind of stop messing around too much with the eyes. We can also use the R hotkey to scale it as well, just make it larger. Okay, don't worry too much about it. It's pretty much transparent. So, all right, we'll get out of edit mesh mode here. I think we're good with that. All right, just get rid of those eye artifacts. And there's also, various other, I'm not going to go into too much details on the sliders here, since we want to kind of focus on other things a little bit later on. But under morphs, there's tons of other stuff under eye as well. Like, if we want to change the eyelid, we don't want to have depth up here. Let's close that down. We can change like the eyelid height, for example, inner eyelid height like this, like that. We'll just kind of take it back to the default value there. Maybe I want to get out of the depth ones here. Outer curve, we can kind of increase the outer curve, and inner height, we can take that down on the right side just to make it look a little bit more angry, slightly. Maybe that's a little bit too much, but you can basically, I want to show you is like the crazy detail you can use for all of these different items here, and these are only found in the headshot section. So if you're like really want completely accurate recreations of characters you're trying to create, then I'd recommend getting the headshot plugin for sure. All right, so then if you actually activate the morph gizmo up here, so we select morph, then when we mouse over different parts of our character's face, it'll kind of have a yellow overlay there, and that means we can modify them separately like this. So I can kind of bring the eyebrows in more like this, make him like a kinder, more like a Shrek ogre or orc, whatever, and then we can do things like this. But again, these are all just very basic. Like if I wanted to expand the nose, I can click and expand the nose there, so that looks kind of cool. But yeah, that's all the morphing we're gonna do. This is not really a webinar focused on morphing, so we're gonna move on from morphing now. Then we're gonna go to our skin. Okay, so now this content pack comes with a skin preset, like a skin base already included in it, because we don't want to keep our orc. Let's turn off our morph gizmo there. We don't want to keep our orc with this nice fair pink skin. Doesn't really make sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace that. And this skin can be found under the in the content, under skin, under overall. Okay, and there's a special, under normal rather. And then there's this ZBrush learning assets. Okay, so you find it here, and high resolution or low resolution depending on what you want. And then we can throw in that orc 4K. What's going to happen is, because this is a CC3, you can see it's a CC3 preset. It's not CC3 plus. So if I applied this right now, it's going to have to bake the entire thing basically. And that'll take like a few minutes. I'm not going to make you wait around while I kind of blabber on for a few minutes. So luckily I already have the character saved, the avatar saved, basically at this step right here with the green skin already applied. So let's go back to our projects tab here, and under custom, under avatar, you see I have orc CC3 plus. All right, so we're just going to load this guy in. We're going to nope, we don't need to save. We'll just replace everything, and we'll have our orc with green skin. And then we'll get to the SkinGen stuff, the fun stuff. All right, we're going to kind of apply a bunch of really cool stuff to this character, some blood, some tattoos, some tribal paint, and we're even going to kind of create our own custom normal maps here as well. All right, so you can see the looks a lot better here. Let's take a sip of tea here while I'm waiting for this to load up. There we go. All right, so we're going to go over to modify, and this time we're going to the appearance editor here, SkinGen, and we're going to activate it. Right, so it's going to load up the SkinGen editor here. And the first thing we're going to do is add some little quick wrinkles, I guess. You know, maybe this orc is a little bit older and battle worn, so we'll throw on some wrinkles and some dirt and stuff onto him first. And again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we kind of covered a lot of this stuff in the webinar on Tuesday. So if this is kind of new to you, if you didn't attend the one on Tuesday, apologize for going a little fast here. We're going to the skin section here. So here's the skin base. So this is all the stuff that was saved in that overall skin right there. You can see the base color map, normal map, and everything. And you can modify your character this way as well by launching these. You can launch this into Photoshop and resave it back in. We're going to add on some SkinGen layers here. So I'm going to go to the Content tab, and under the Skin section here, we're going to go to make sure we're at Template there. Down to Normal Effects, all right? Facial wrinkles. We'll just throw in some really quick facial wrinkles, nothing too complicated. This is a realistic human skin pack as well. This is a part of the 4-in-1 deal that you get right now. Again, this deal only goes on until August 31st, so I'd recommend picking it up before that, and the price will be different afterwards. So I'm just going to apply this face wrinkle 10 and give our character some character. All right, give him some grit on his face there, and then we're going to throw on some body wrinkles as well. Not wrinkles on the body, more like musculature. All right, so you can see here we have the wrinkles broad, 2 layers applied, so you can increase or decrease that level there. So the wrinkles broad are more like kind of the outline of the eyebrows and stuff like that. If I take it off, you can see it's a little bit less defined. So I like to have this at a fairly high level. And of course, you can always increase the normal strength as well, decrease the normal strength, depending on your preference. I'm going to keep it pretty strong. And then we also have fine wrinkles here as well. So opacity down, opacity up. All right, I'm going to take the maximize those fine wrinkles there. Just give them a bit more of a manly look there. All right, and then we also have normal effects for the body here as well. So body effects, we're going to use a muscle one here. So there's we're going to do the strongest one, strong, male, heavy. All right, so we're going to just apply that one, make this guy a little bit more ripped. Go ahead and add that. I guess I should have zoomed out in the body so you can see just how he gets a good workout in like a couple seconds here. I can use the opacity as well to modify that. So you can see now we have body muscle. This also shows up in the head material. You can go to the body material and find it there as well. I didn't really need to switch that, but yeah, the body muscle only has body right now. We'll add more stuff to that later. All right, so body, you can see opacity, and we can really, you know, see the sinewy muscles kind of appear right there like this. So, you know, pretty cool stuff. And we definitely want to have that on our orc. You know, he's a strong, battle-torn beast of a man, or beast of a creature, I guess you can say. All right, so that's it for that. Let's go ahead and add some vascular effects now. So vascular effects are pretty cool. These are effects that are kind of basically veins. All right. So these effects are linked with both the body and the head. Okay, so we'll zoom in a little bit and we'll just apply that. And we'll see these effects added to both the body and the head materials. And they'll just take a second because it's applying to 2 different materials at once. All right, so you can see those cool looking veins on the head, almost like he's like, I'm thinking really hard. My head, the veins are pumping, throbbing. But what we're going to do is we're going to go with the head material here, body vascular. You'll see that we have a link control up here, so everything is linked. And we talk about this on the introductory tutorial, the UI introduction tutorial for SkinGen. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and you can see the opacity. If we take that opacity down, it'll be linked on both the body and the head there. Okay, we're going to take that up to like a maximum level there, because I really want to focus on making these vascular veins like really huge. Okay, you can also increase the opacity. So they're more prominent. You can change the color if we want it to maybe like a darker green. In this case, something like that would be kind of cool. But then we want to kind of decrease the opacity a little bit in that case. And you can also blur it. Okay, so it's kind of blurred more into it. I kind of like the very prominent, vascular effects like this. Maybe that's a little bit crazy for color. We'll just take that up a little bit on the head there. I think it's a little too saturated, actually. Okay, fine. We'll just work with that. And then there's also, options down here as well. So this is basically part of the head. So we can increase the normal strength on a certain section. You can see it's those veins in the middle of the head. And that's the white area right there. If we mouse over the range, you can see that's on the forehead only. All right, so we can adjust these veins all separately. Different sections of the head have different, parameters that you can adjust separately. And you can also adjust like color opacity as well, like we had earlier, and normal strength and all that fun stuff. And you can go to the body and do that separately as well. I think you kind of get the picture though, what the vascular stuff does. And yeah, it's pretty cool effect, I think. I like it anyways. It's all the normal strength right there. We'll just kind of take that down and let's just take that color. I know I'm being fussy here. There we go. I think that looks fine right there. Coolio. All right. So we're after the vascular effects. What we're going to do is we're going to add some normal noise to our character's chest, because his skin still looks a little bit too smooth for my taste. So we'll go to content here, and under noise, we're just going to add noise pattern 3 rough. Okay. This is going to apply to the character's body, give him a bit more of a rough look to his skin. Right, we don't want him to, he's not like an oil of Olay like model or something. He's an orc, and therefore must have rough skin. So we're going to add in body noise here. Okay, you can see the effect that it has when I change the opacity. Right, almost like he's got, just totally changes the texture of the skin. All right, so I like to add this, and it also changes, it has a kind of color tint to it as well, which you can change down here. You can also use duo colors as well. So that's, it's a little bit strange on this section here, because it's kind of blended in a certain area. So you can blend it like this if you want to add like a bit more, maybe want some dark green patches there as he's, towards his face there. You can blend that weight as you see fit. I think that looks fine. Right, you can expand it as well. You don't want to worry too much about that. All right, just keep that. And there's all sorts of other parameters you can mess around with, but I'm not going to go too much into detail on those right now, because we have a lot of other stuff to cover. All right, so we have that normal noise on the body. Let's go and add some oil now. Okay, there's all sorts of other stuff you can add, like levels. We can add some more details on the face, for example. I like to use the pores one, micro male, for example. Just give him a bit more roughness on his face. And you'll see that pop up in momentarily. Again, very subtle effect. You can barely notice it just around the focus around the eyes there. If I zoom in a little bit closer. 0 opacity, smooth, and high opacity a little bit stronger there. Okay, that's maybe not even effective when you make a difference, and we want to kind of reserve our effects. We want to keep as little layers as possible, as few layers as possible, because the more layers you have, the more resources it's taking for your computer, right? So maybe the secondary, tertiary, normal male will have a little bit of a stronger effect on the cheeks. And that's kind of what I want to go for. Although in the end, basically, we're going to cover up everything with paint and blood. So it's kind of pointless to have all this stuff. But I just wanted to show you the effect that you have there. All right, so secondary effect. There you go. Okay, just very subtle, but yeah, we'll keep that one. All right, and the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to take a look at oil. Okay, so skin details. Oops, we have actually normal effects rather. Let's twirl all these up. I like to keep things organized there. And blemish. We'll go ahead and go to capillary. We'll just throw in some capillaries there. Maybe some. This capillary cheek dark as well, just kind of more detail on there as well. All right, and you'll be able to see that when I adjust the opacity. Oops, what am I doing? Oh, there we go. All right, so you'll see the capillaries kind of appear on the cheek there. And again, there's lots of stuff you can customize here as well. We're going to talk about patterns a little bit later on, but I want to kind of move through things a little bit faster here since we kind of need to focus on other things. So levels, face and body, skin details, roughness, okay. This is where you can add the oil stuff. So under roughness, this is a realistic human skin pack again. I'm going to add the oily full, okay. We want to make him nice and greasy and slimy, I guess. Not too greasy and slimy, but you can see the effect that that has. It's very nice that you can see the specular highlights on different parts of the face. Julio, and I think you kind of know, you can kind of guess opacity and what it does for this effect and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Let's go to next to acquired. So this is something we didn't really talk about too much in Tuesday's webinar. We didn't talk too much about acquired. We can give them acne and moles and suntan and freckles as well, but why bother? We're just going to cover it up with stuff anyways. So we're going to go to acquired now. This is an important one, dirt. Of course, we want our orc to be really dirty, so we can throw on like facial dirt. Okay, now keep in mind that when you apply facial dirt to your character, because we're going to apply tribal paint a little bit later, keep in mind that, you know, maybe he got dirty after he applied the tribal paint, or maybe he got dirty before he applied the tribal paint. But the important thing to keep in mind is when you apply dirt on the skin layer, it's going to affect the makeup stuff, like the paint, the tribal paint and everything will cover it up. So just keep that in mind. Generally, what you want to do is you want to have your dirt on the upper layer. And this is why I'm not going to apply blood on my skin layer, because I'm going to have paint and I'm going to apply the blood over top of the paint. It doesn't make sense to, you know, paint your tribal paint over top of the blood unless you're crazy savage or something. I don't know. But just let's go into this anyways and apply some dirt to the body. Okay. We're just going to apply to the body, body dirt right here and some arm dirt. And again, you can explore the parameters on your own time. I think I don't want to repeat myself too much because there's so many parameters you can explore. But we're going to focus on the tools a little bit later, which is what I want to get into more. And of course, there's the Q&A session as well that you can ask me about anything later. All right, so now that our orc is nice and dirty. He's dorky orc. Anyways, let's go to the next one here. We're going to throw some scars in there as well. So under dirt, we'll go to scar. We'll just go ahead and maybe have this scar scratch. Okay, nothing too complicated there. All right, just throw that in there. His face may be a bit oily for my tastes. I'm just looking at it right now, so I'm going to take that opacity down a little bit. We don't want it to be too extreme. There we go, something like that, a little bit more subtle. Okay, so there's that scratch. And then of course, you can modify the patterns of this. We'll talk about that later. So sorry if I'm skipping through things too fast, but it's easy to kind of explore on your own time. And I do want this guy to have some cool tattoos. There's a really cool arm tattoo. This armband we'll throw on our dude. Let's zoom out so we can see it when it's applied. And add. And of course, if it's a tattoo, generally you want it to be on the lower layers. You know, technically you'll want it to be on the lower layers. So what you would do, you can see the tattoo it's on the body. Right? So if we go to the body material, technically you'd want to make sure that tattoo is on the bottom, or it's on the arm, I guess. Right. It is an arm tattoo, Kai. All right, let's take it down to the bottom layer there. I mean, it's not really going to be that noticeable. You can see if the dirt is over top of it, then it kind of looks a bit more realistic. All right. So again, you just click and drag your layers back and forth however you want. Maybe technically it would be over top of the body muscle right there, but it's not going to make much of a difference. All right. Back to content here. I think we're only going to apply that one tattoo. And what's next here? We're going to go to, excuse me. We're going to go over to makeup now. All right, so that's all the skin effects we have. We're going to be fine with that. I'm going to go over to makeup now. And for makeup, we're going to throw in a couple of things here. We're going to throw to miscellaneous, makeup and SFX, and camouflage. And we're going to throw in our camouflage paint here. Whoop. I think my microphone just went out there. All right, so we're going to throw in this paint 01 since it's kind of like a nice dark paint and our orc's face is nice and green there. So we'll go ahead and throw that in there. And then we're going to talk about the decal tool. This is the first tool we're going to talk about in just a moment here. So we'll throw that paint on top. Hopefully that applies correctly to our character's face. There we go. Pretty cool, badass looking paint there. And there we have our mask for the paint. We have our normal maps. All these maps you can modify. And keep in mind that you need to have the premium SkinGen plugin in order to modify and customize your own maps. All right. So let's go back into our color here. Of course, you can change the brightness to something a little bit darker, which I think is cool. Saturation, all your typical parameters. And there's the normal map as well. You can increase the normal blend right here. You can see that a little bit more detail on the character's head there. And again, that's enhancing the effect of this normal map that we have right here, our range map. So we don't want to have that too crazy. Take that down a little bit. All right. We just want to focus on the paint. And you can also adjust the metallic values of your paint as well. You can make it a bit more, where is it here? Roughness and metallic. Okay, so if you increase the metallic, take down the roughness, you can make that, you can adjust that level as well, and so on and so forth. But we're not going to spend too much detail on that because we just basically have that paint applied to our character's face. Pretty cool stuff. All right, after the paint, we're going to throw in some other tools here. So I'm going to go to my content manager. I'm going to go to SkinGen tools and decal. All right, so decal, if I just double click it, it's going to apply to my character's face. And it's going to be a default little kind of like elven text, I guess is what it is. It looks pretty cool here. And what I'm going to do is make sure that's kind of below the facial paint because this is kind of maybe like a tattoo. And of course, we don't want the tattoo on his head, across his head. Unless, of course, maybe you did want that. But what we're going to do is take it below the paint layer, and we're going to take it down using the offset slider here. So let's take it down to his neck. So maybe he got some like elven, I don't know, script written on his. If any one of you guys is like a Lord of the Rings nerd, you can probably tell me what sort of script that is. It could be an actual language too, but I'm not even sure. We'll just take it down to a level that we want anyways. And there's other parameters you can put on here. So decal is just basically a tool you can use to basically apply tattoos. And that's all it's really used for. All right, so we have that on there. Let's go ahead and take a look at adding another scar there. So there's also scars in the makeup section. So if we go to content, there is right here, if we go up there under, where is it here? Miscellaneous. Okay, there's also scars under the makeup and SFX pack. Again, part of the 4-in-1 pack. So if I just apply this cross dry scar, that's just going to apply directly to the forehead, like that that medicine head on, apply directly to the forehead. All right, so that looks like a pretty cool and gruesome scar. And there's of course the parameters you can modify on this as well. You can modify the pattern if you want. You can modify the scale. I'm going to take the scale down a little bit, and let's adjust the blur a little bit, the color opacity. I don't want it to be so reddish. I'm going to take that material color down just like that. Right, just a very subtle little injury there on his forehead between the maybe he got slashed by a dwarf or something, or I don't know, whatever. Let's go back to the content tab here. And what I'm going to do now is add a normal tool, all right? Using these SkinGen tools, we're going to add a normal tool to our character's face. Now, you also have this in the skin section. I wanted to point that out here under SkinGen tools, under part. We also have a part normal and a part normal plus here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to apply this one part to our skin and one part to our makeup, all right? So there's part normal and part normal plus. And part normal plus is basically just the same thing as part normal, except you have another color that you can add into your effect. All right, so I'm back in skin here. I'm going to apply the skin effect, part normal plus, to my character. And you can see it, the difference here is it adds like, we need to go back to, we're in makeup here. So we need to go back to our skin section when we apply that. Let's just delete that. I guess we could leave it, but because we're going to go back there eventually anyways. In the skin section, you need to apply it. All right, so we're going to go back to skin. You can see it doesn't look as cool now, but we're going to apply part normal plus here. And we want to apply it to our head only. I believe we are on the head anyways. It should pop up with those numbers on our character's head. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So the difference between this one, like I mentioned, there's kind of like a reddish, orangish outline on all of the numbers. And if we go over to Part Normal Plus here, you can see there's our normal map. And this is obviously not the normal map that we want. We don't want numbers on our orc's face. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create my own normal map. And I'm going to do that in good old Photoshop. It's actually really easy to create a normal map in Photoshop. What you need to do first is you need to export your character's UV map from your face. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment here. So to do this, unfortunately, we need to go out of the Activate editor. So we need to deactivate our editor. And oh, actually, no, we don't. We can launch it directly from the SkinGen editor. I'm just old school, so I always go back into the material maps. So we'll just, I guess, doesn't really matter. Either way is fine. We can launch it from the material maps as well. So if, for example, you're out of the editor and you want to launch your UV map, you can just go to materials and you can go to make sure that you use a tool here, picker tool, pick your character's head, skin head there. Where is it? Why is it not selecting skin head? There we go. It should select anyways. And you can just go over here and just launch UV, this button down here, launch UV reference, and that'll load it up in Photoshop. Just a moment. All right. So this is basically our character's, the map for our character's head, the texture. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to use a brush. I'm going to use some like weird splatter brush. Okay. Something like Supreme Splatter. Make my brush a little bit larger. I'm just going to add kind of like a gross, like, I don't know. Oops. Let's Control Z that. That's a little bit too large. How did it get that large? And what I'm going to do here is make sure that my color is completely white. Okay. Of course, we want to generate a normal map. Let's just make that a little bit smaller. Stuff like this. Okay, this is going to make our character basically have bumps and gross looking bumps on his face. We'll just put it in like random areas here. Whoops, we need to do that on a separate layer. So let's go ahead and start a new layer and just do the same thing. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's fine. And then we need to create another layer. And this layer goes below that layer. Let's actually delete the UV layer. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so this layer we need to actually fill it with black. So I'm going to change that to black and just go ahead and fill it. Bam. All right. So this is our normal map. We're going to generate a normal map from this. Again, in Photoshop, you can just go to Filter and 3D and generate normal map. We need to merge those layers first here. Right click and merge layers. Filter, 3D, generate normal map. And that'll take 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, and we should be good to go. All right, looks like craters on the moon, small craters on the moon, but instead it's going to be bumps on our character's face. So let's go ahead and press OK, and file, and we'll save that as a PNG file. Let's just save it to our desktop. Ultra cool bump face map. Okay, there we go. And what we need to do now is in Character Creator, we're going to load up our SkinGen editor again. And then we're going to apply that normal map to, so instead of the 1, 2, 3, 4 on our character's face, we're going to have some gross looking bumps. And then I'll add some kind of tribal pattern after that, which is going to look really cool. And then after that, we're pretty much done with Character Creator. We're going to take our character into iClone, and we're going to kind of really add some cool lighting, make his eyes glow and all this fun stuff. So, you know, stay tuned for that. If you're getting bored with all the loading, apologies for that. It'll be done in a moment. All right, so we're back in the skin section of SkinGen. Go to our Part Normal Plus here, and we'll just load that normal map in. All I need to do is just click and drag it. Oh man, I need to clean up my desktop. Click and drag it into here. Shabam. Yeah. That is a strange occurrence. Maybe I need to load that by double clicking on it. Should be able to click and drag. Let's try and Control Z that a couple times. And let's go to our desktop here. Ultra cool bump map. Oh, maybe because it's in the makeup section as well. This shouldn't be happening. Unless the size of our normal map is different. No, this is about the size we need. And let's try this procedure one more time. This time I'll use a regular normal instead of normal plus. I'm not sure why that's not working. Let's go to content. Let's just use part normal this time. Let's see if that works. Apply to the head. Not sure why it's applying only to the arm there. It's very strange. It might be a little bit of a glitch, but we should be able to give our character some bumps on his forehead there, or all over his head, really. Let's try that one more time. Desktop. Ultra. Oh, that's weird. Very strange indeed. Visibility is working, but the normal map is not working there. Oh, it's because I have the arm selected in material here. Okay. Oh man, that looks so dumb live on the air. I hate it when that happens. All right, let's go back to head here. All right. Goodness me. All right, let's do that again. So content, part normal plus. Apologies for that, guys. Apply to the head. It should still apply to the head, though. I'm not sure, I guess. All right, now this will work. All right, desktop, zoop. All right, huzzah, it finally worked. Okay, so you can see that we have the kind of, I just, created a quick normal map with splatter, so it's not obviously very accurate, or maybe it's, more random than we want, but we can increase the normal strength like this. I like to pump up the normal strength on this. I'm going to change the color to like a darkish green. There we go. Actually, maybe a lighter green might be interesting. Nope. Let's take it to like a kind of a weird orange. All right, I think that's maybe a darker orange. Too fussy with colors. There you go. Orange and green kind of are the orcs colors, right? So yeah, there's your opacity. You can adjust the level of that orange and the roughness. And also there's blur and expansion and all this stuff down here, all sorts of different parameters, and you can adjust the head separately. Different areas of the face separately, like normal strength for the eyebrows there. Okay, you can adjust those all separately, and so on and so forth. All right, coolio. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one here. We're going to apply a normal map for the makeup. Also, you can by the way, you can also rotate this, which may be something that you want to do if you find that the levels are too or doesn't look good enough for you. You should be able to adjust the different levels here. Where is it? There's so much stuff going on here. Expansion, contrast. I believe there is an option to, for the transform. I might have gone by it, but yeah, we'll just kind of skip over that for now. Also, you have the blend mode here on the top. You can change it from normal to multiply if you want to kind of just enhance the kind of the natural look of your character. That looks a little bit too gross for me. But you can also choose to like soft overlay and soft light as well. But I'm going to use normal in this case. I think that looks just fine. All right, so we're good. Let's go to our makeup then and apply our final makeup layer, and then we'll swap over to iClone. I'll actually start loading up iClone now since it'll take a minute or so. Let's go to our hub here and open that up. All right, and what we're going to do is apply a custom normal map again to in makeup. So we're going to go to content, and under part, we will use part. Oh, we need to apply the blood as well. I'm going to show you that in just a moment. So part normal plus. Again, this one can be part normal since it's just kind of a basic kind of tattoo, like a kind of a tribal tattoo, or maybe a tribal skin adjustment or skin modification thing. All right, so I'm not going to go through that whole normal map procedure in Photoshop again, since I kind of already showed you that. I have the map already prepared, or nope, I guess it's deleted. So we'll just do that really quickly again. So I have this image right here in Photoshop already prepared. Let's close this one down. And it's just a matter of, oops, I'm going to blend. You can also blend on the teeth as well, which I might have time to show you. Let's just create this really quick. Generate neural map. And this one's a little bit more, organized, as you can obviously see. Spent a bit more time on this one. And all you do is save it as good old PNG. Good old PNG on the folder, normal map. Okay, and we'll go to that folder here. There it is. And we're just going to place it. Let's see if the click and drag works this time. Gosh, I hope it works. Yeah, it does. Okay, so now we have this cool kind of like tribal, pattern on our character's face. And this is a really cool normal map, much cooler than the splatter one that I just did. And again, same parameters. You can adjust the strength and so on. I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but just kind of want to show you the normal part tool, which is a really great tool. And now I mentioned before, I didn't want to put the blood underneath the paints. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to create a custom makeup tool. We're going to go to content here. And under SkinGen tool specific, there is one called liquid. All right. So this is a different tool. You can customize your own. So we're going to throw liquid on there. And the default one, I believe, is like some weird sweaty one. Just like, yeah, some sweat on our character. So, it looks a little strange. And the sweat kind of blends in with the tribal tattoo, which is, not what I want. So I'm going to go to liquid here. And I'm going to throw in a couple of custom masks that I've previously done here. So we have the texture settings. We want to change this to a custom texture setting. And we're going to go to our SkinGen here. We're going to use this blood transform. Okay, that's our pattern, our custom pattern. And then down further, we're going to change this texture setting pattern from a drip, like this drip right here. We're going to change this to the blood drip, right? And I basically just copied these from the same one over there in the skin section. So now we have this, and we need to change the color. So color, where are you? There we go. Pink, no way. We're gonna make this blood red, all right? And we're gonna change this from one color to duo colors and increase the opacity. And Shazam, you can see we have blood splatter on our character's face. So again, you can do a lot of crazy things with this. You can expand the color, you can secondary color expansion, normal strength. And I recommend using duo color because it just kind of looks a little bit cooler. And there's pattern variation, so scale variation, okay, like this, pattern scale. Again, you don't want to go too crazy with this. Position disorder is, I think, one that you want to have on. There's pattern rotation, variation, all sorts of parameters you can go into here, but I don't want to kind of spend too much time on it. You can change the amount of blood, which is very useful, or less blood, and more tiling or less tiling. I'm going to have less tiling in this case. I think that's kind of, again, I don't want to mess around with this too much. That looks fine to me. Maybe a little bit less. I do want to position disorder this quite a bit more, though. Rotation variation. The more variation you have, obviously, the better it'll look in the end. But I can spend hours just kind of, messing around with this. Oops, what did I do? With all this stuff, just keep that in mind. All right, I'm getting too involved in the blood here. We'll just kind of keep it that way. He's a little bit bloody, but not super bloody, just like more like blood splatter. All right, and I think that's all we're going to cover for character creator. So let's launch our character. We have 10 minutes to launch our character into iClone and get into the other stuff. We're going to add some horns first on our character. One more thing I wanted to add. So in content, this is in under head, rather. Under head, we have this playset Darksider, and there's some horns in here. This is a content pack you can get from the content store as well. We have these cool, these horns are supposed to be on a helmet. It'll just deactivate SkinGen. That's fine. We don't need a SkinGen anymore. And I guess we have time. I can throw in the blend on the teeth there, because it always bothers me that this orc has, you know, bright white teeth when he should have, you know, dirty kind of crusty yellow teeth. So we're going to get to that in just a second here after I apply these cool looking horns. And we'll just kind of use the R hotkey to scale those down. Simple as that. We can use the E hotkey to rotate, put them down this way. Looks a bit more aggressive. All right, cool. And I think we need to reapply that the clothing. Yeah, because we applied the clothing earlier, and then we kind of I loaded in a different avatar. So we're going to need to apply that one more time really quick. Pants. All right, it's already set up for us here. Get some pants on, you dirty orc. And then we'll throw on his cool looking shoulder armor there. All right, looking good. And then shirts, not skirts. Barbarian leather. And we'll just resize this. For this one, you definitely don't want to fit the body shape. Fitting body shape option is used for like very close fitting clothing, like yoga pants or spandex. I don't know who wears spandex anymore, but you know, it was a thing in the 80s. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, crap. I meant to go to modify. My mouse just slipped. All right. So I promise after we make the shoulders or the armor larger, then we're into iClone, and I'm going to show some cool eye editing and lighting effects in just a moment. At least my mouse is working today. On Tuesday, my mouse actually ran out of batteries, believe it or not. Happens like once every 2 years, and it happened in the middle of the webinar. So I had to use the trackpad for the last 5 minutes or so, which was plenty fun, I gotta tell you. All right, well, we just wasted all that time activating the appearance editor, and we're gonna deactivate it. And we're gonna just throw our character into iClone. After, of course, we adjust that armor and the teeth. So I might go just a couple minutes over time here. But we have plenty of time for the Q&A, so don't worry about that. All right, select armor. Go to modify, conform, and increase that size. Boom, there we go. Okay, we're good. So if I wanted to adjust the teeth right now, what I'm going to do is just make sure we have them selected in the scene manager here, base teeth, you can see. Go to modify, go over here. And you can draw over the diffuse map if you want, just yellow stuff on all the teeth there. But I'm going to do a really quick shortcut. I'm just going to apply a blend map to my, let's see which one looks good here. I don't know. This one maybe. Apply a blend map to my, right here. And we're going to have that, make sure the strength, you can see, this is just for the teeth inside our character's mouth there. And we're going to change the color to like a yellow, diffuse color to like some gross looking orange or yellow. Like see the teeth inside are yellow along the top there. And then we need to change to the lower teeth and do the same thing. And you can, of course, use a different blend map if you want, but generally one with a lot of white is going to have a better effect. You can see we have that kind of cool streaky effect on the teeth there. And again, just change this color to another kind of gross orangish. There we go. That's more like orc teeth to me. Coolio. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this character now and send him into iClone. Let's do that right off the bat here. So you can go up here to send character to iClone. This is what I'm going to do because I'm for a shortcut. Make sure we're close that down and send him over. Off to iClone with ye, foul orc. And that should be in iClone just a moment here. Just briefly checking the, oh, I guess we need to close all that stuff too before we send it to iClone. Is it still sending? Nope. All right, let's do it one more time. Now we're talking. All right, so for lack of time, I'm just going to kind of throw a light effect. There's a content pack called Light Tools, and there's a really bunch of but basically it's a bunch of cool like atmospheric lighting presets that you can throw into your scene. You can test them out. It's a whole different variety of presets. So what I'm going to do is make sure our character's in here first, and we'll put him in a cool pose. Since we don't want our orc in a T pose, it looks relatively non-threatening. This T pose. He's like, I'm going to T you. All right, let's just go ahead and contents, and let's go to motions here. And in motions, there's a bunch of poses, and male pose. We don't want him to like be leaning against the wall like a supermodel either. So let's just use something like this one, standing. Right, it looks relatively threatening. He's like, all right, cool. All right, let's get a kind of a good camera angle right here. And then what I'm going to do is go to our stage tab over here. We're going to go to Lightroom. Again, this is a content pack that you purchase from the content store. And we're going to just use maybe, let's use this lighting from the back. All right, so this one's pretty cool. And we're going to just modify the eyes slightly. I think if we go to our visual tab here, we're going to adjust the shadows, make our shadows a little bit darker. Our global shadows. We want the resolution definitely to be higher than 512. Okay, 2048. You need to make sure that's pretty high. I think our shadows seem okay. I'm going to go over here to our IBL. Our IBL is kind of strong. If we take that down to 0, you can see the effect that it has. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that looks kind of cool. And if we want the background to be black, it looks kind of weird when it's gray. Let's go up to preferences, or our project settings rather. And background color, just take that all the way down to black. Boom. All right. And we can press Control G to turn the grid off. Cool. That looks a little bit better. And in our scene manager, we will have a couple of lights. Again, these are automatically applied. You can see which light is which. There's our side light from this side. You can see the cool subsurface scattering effect on the ears as well. That's a newer feature with iClone. I think it was 7.7 that did that. There's our 2 lights. I think they're pretty cool. I can probably increase the darkness on this shadow right here. And notice that the shadow that's the backlight, if I increase that shadow darkness, we get a kind of a cool effect like this. I think I'm going to keep that relatively strong actually, because I like the way that looks. And we're going to just move on to the eyes now. So the eyes are, pretty annoying sometimes in iClone, I have to admit, because we have so many different versions of characters, and the eyes are kind of different between all of them. And then you import in DAZ characters who have different eyes and all sorts of fun stuff you get to modify. So we're going to select our character's eyes. You can see that all the eye shaders right here, I guess they're set to traditional. If this is the case, what you want to do is you want to set your corneas, make sure that your corneas are set to, so we'll control select, make sure these are all set to shader type digital human eye. Okay, and you can see the eyes actually go black. Let's change this to auxiliary lighting mode here. And you can see the eyes go black here. So auxiliary light, by the way, is just really quick shortcut lighting if you want to see something. And this is up here. I kind of did that really fast. But what I need to do is make sure that the corneas of both eyes here, we're going to take the eye map from the diffuse over here. I'm just going to right click and copy that. Then I'm going to paste it in my digital human eye for both corneas. This is how you manually recreate a digital human eye, okay, if it's traditional. And then you want to make sure your opacity is up. Okay, for, was that? Yes, for the digital human eye, okay. And traditional, just take that opacity, or no, need to go to this one here. Our strength is up, our opacity. Oh, we need to make our diffuse color black, change that from black to white, okay? Because if it's black, it's not going to show up. Boom. All right, so there's our eye reappearing on the right side. And left, we'll do the same thing. Diffuse color to white. Sorry if I'm going through this real fast, guys, but we're limited for time here. So I'm going to take off that auxiliary light now, and you can see the one kind of eye there, which is pretty cool. There's a couple of ways you can make your eyes glow. One is self-illumination. Ooh, okay, but that just makes the entire thing illuminated in your diffuse color, right? It's not really focused around, and it's not going to glow either. So even if you have global illumination on, it's not going to make them glow. So if I go to visual, I need to make sure our global illumination is set to on, okay? And you can see it lights up things a bit better now. And I'm going to go back to what are we doing here? I wanted to go back to the scene and adjust my lighting again really quick. Whoops, back. Yeah, that's fine. Just very, very slight lighting from that one side. Yeah, we don't want that. Let's keep this one where it was. Okay, coolio. So let's go to the next level here, which was we're going to make the eyes glow. So back to selecting the eyes here. CC base eyes, go to your materials. There's another way you can do. You can go to your iris and you can adjust your iris brightness. Okay, you can see that kind of changes the brightness of the iris on my character there, which is pretty cool. It's a cool accompaniment if you want to make your eyes start glowing. All right. But I'm going to kind of keep those at regular level, pupil scale, all sorts of stuff here, but nothing makes your eye glow. So what you can do is you can actually go to your glow map and apply a glow map. Double click it. You can apply something like this. And what's going to happen is it's going to basically have that glow map for the entire eye. And the base color is still going to be in the middle of it. You can take that base color and you can remove it. And your character will have kind of like an evil glow like this, which is pretty cool. But what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to have a special eye map prepared. And it's red. All right. So I'm going to have to give our character really evil kind of red eyes. So we're going to change the red to the glow map and the base color map. All right. And then we have something like this, and we can adjust that glow, the red glow like that. Okay, pretty cool. And this is actually, you can keyframe this. So you can have your eyes like pulsating like this, glowing, because any parameter in iClone that has green text, you can keyframe this. So your character, once he gets like really angry, he wants to turn like Super Saiyan or Super Orc, you'd be like, I'm getting angry, and then increase the strength on that. Okay, and then it'll look like that. Let's go to the other human eye here and throw on that same glowing red. I'll show you what it looks like if you don't. So maybe it looks kind of cooler if we do have the base color included there as well. Yeah, that's your glow map right there. And what you can do further is you can actually go down here and increase that illumination scale and light bounce strength. It should have an effect on our character's eye there. We need to maybe set the global illumination a little bit higher, but I think that looks pretty cool. I'm going to go back to the left eye and replace that base color map. So let's copy and paste it. Left cornea and paste. Cool. All right. And then the glow map, obviously the lighting from that angle is a bit stronger. So if we take our lights all off and our IBL off, boom. Freaky. If you saw this in the middle of the night, wouldn't be too happy. Anyways, okay, shadow's okay. Let's turn our lights back on, and there you go. I maybe want to have the global illumination slightly higher. No, that's not what I want. Anyways, you can make it so that your eyes are kind of glowing. We maybe need to get rid of that layer on the eyes here. Let's take this occlusion layer. Line maybe. There should be a way to get your eyes glowing more. Kind of, maybe the lighting is too strong, but glowing more into the surrounding area. But this looks cool enough. All right. So that's really all I wanted to achieve. You can see the result is a lot different from Tuesday. We had a kind of an aging housewife on Tuesday, and today we have this fearsome looking orc. We can, use our / key to change the lighting from different angles and just like this. But I think the backlighting looks pretty cool for this dude. All right. We'll work with that. Anyway, so that's the entire webinar. That's the whole shebang there. So let's go ahead and get to the Q&A section. We already have a couple of questions lined up. So let's get to the first one here. First one is for Walter Tadlock. I bought the 4-in-1 pack, and one of the products is the Ultimate Morph. On this site, it says naturally morph through the ages, but I cannot find any information on this feature. So the Ultimate Morphs, it's kind of a pack that's meant to update the previous morph packs that we had for CC3 characters. So now we have CC3 Base Plus, which is the quad mesh characters, who are a big improvement from the previous triangle based characters, triangle mesh, tri-mesh based characters. And in terms of morphs, I mean, they're just kind of, I can't even forget where most of them are, but because I haven't done a lot of morphing in a while. But there are additional morphs that are included with that pack. Gosh, I think it's mostly in the body. And they just kind of throw them into the different areas. They don't have a special folder for those morphs. They're just kind of added to the different areas. Like for the waist, for example, you can see that we have belly and navel. And these ones here are part of the 4-in-1 morph pack, the ultimate morphs pack. You don't have these if you don't with the basic version of Character Creator 3. So muffin top. Let's see what this orc looks like with a muffin top. It'll probably break through his mesh there, but oh no, looking okay. There's he's been eating a few too many muffins, or maybe a few too many human heads, so he's getting the muffin top. But yeah, I guess the original question was naturally morph through the ages. I guess, you know, there's different morphs here, like a pot belly that you could add that would, you know, be different from a youthful character. You'd have more of an older character with a pot belly. I don't want to go into the, you know, browsing through these when I'm not super familiar with them, but you know, there's other ones like breast, and there's breast scale. Obviously, they're going to be a little bit different as they age. Compression and flatten. Okay, the curve is going to be different underneath them and stuff. So, you know, just elements like this, sliders like this, are going to be used if you're going to try and age a character. And maybe we'll have a different tutorial or webinar specifically on doing that with the morphs, but I don't want to go into too much detail on this particular webinar. So, and you can also email me as well for more details on that if you want, Walter. So the next question is similar. Lester's asking, how do you create an old person with sagging skin? So the easiest way to do that is there's actually, you know, templates you can just apply from the skin pack here. So if you go to like full skin, in the realistic human skin pack, which I highly recommend getting, I mean, it's totally worth it if you ask me. There's aged female, there's aged male. And if you apply these to your character, it's basically just going to, you know, replace their current skin with a bunch of different layers. I don't want to do it on my orc because I kind of want to save this and send it out to people. But the aged male, aged female, for example, yeah, you can totally just apply those. And there's also, you know, normal effects like facial wrinkles. Again, in the realistic human skin pack, you're going to get a lot more templates and presets you can start from. So, I mean, if you have a lot of time on your hands and you want to start from scratch, I recommend that. There's no problem with that. But to save a lot of time, you can use these presets to start from, and then you can customize and modify them in your own way. And that's kind of the part of the advantage of getting more content, is you just have more options from where to start from. And it does save time on a lot of projects. All right, so hopefully that answers your question there, Lester. Various aging elements you can add. We talked more about that on Tuesday. Let me just see what's going on here. Great. Okay. So Sabbath asks, can you give a detailed demo on the outfit panel? I mean, the outfit panel is basically just the same thing as it was with the Substance Designer. So if I go to, what am I doing here? Content. Oops. Yeah, outfits over here. Again, our character has some accessories. What you do is you can just basically activate the appearance editor on that accessory. And if it's substance enabled, which I'm not sure if this one is, then you can modify the substances. But yeah, you have to, for the appearance editor on the skin or on the other things like teeth and eyes and stuff like that, you can convert it to like a substance material, or you can just apply it using the materials as well. You can also do modifications using the material section, which is what I did earlier. Oh, I should have saved this as digital human eye. Yeah, so before you export, make sure your eyes are all digital human eye type, not traditional. Okay, I'm not sure why that applied as traditional, but just make sure the shader type is set to digital human eye. That's the best way to go about things. About, as we say in Canada. All right. Yeah, so Sab, I'm not going to go into too much detail on the outfit panel, but it is essentially the same thing. There are tutorials on the substance designer, not on Substance Designer, on the appearance editor, which use Substance Designer. So I can, if you email me later, I can definitely recommend some of those tutorials for you. Okay, so Joseph asks, speaking of skin and texture, what's the best solution for full beards, not merely thick shaved stubbles, but beards with different lengths? So the option for that is to add a beard like you would add hair on your character. Okay, so if I added hair on my character, I can change the position of that hair. I don't think I have any beard content specifically. I'm going to take a quick look here. No, I don't think so. We have balding men and stuff, but nothing specifically for the beards. So what you would do is you would just take like some hair here and rotate it and change the position of it. Maybe we can take this guy's bald. let's put a balding hair on our orc character here and see what happens. But I mean, it's the same process, and you would find it in this section of your character, either under hair. He actually looks kind of cool, to be honest. He looks kind of like a wise old balding orc. What you could do is you could press E hotkey and rotate it, and press W and bring it up, and bring it forward. You know, and then you could edit the mesh as well. So you can go to modify and you know, edit mesh. And then, you know, I don't want to spend too much time doing that, but what you would do is you edit mesh and kind of bring it more obviously conform to his face. I'm going to keep that hair, actually. I think that looks kind of cool. But you kind of get the point. So that's what you would do for beards that are not, you know, part of SkinGen. Okay, so Subdeacon asks, is there any possibility to export or import the positions of the sliders of the morphs to be edited manually? So, I mean, when you export morphs, you import morphs, you basically import blend shapes. That's what you're doing. So that's how you import them. When you export them, you're kind of doing the same thing. So yeah, you can import and export blend shapes, no problem. And there's a whole tutorial on that. You can go to like basically create your own blend shapes over here. Cloth, hair, accessories, morph slider editor, various things up here as well. I haven't done that in a long time, and I think they've updated it since I last did my last tutorial. So there should be a tutorial on this probably in the near future. Yeah, creating your own morphs and exporting and importing them. There's a tutorial on that, which where would that be? You can probably email me later, and I'll try and find it for you. I don't want to kind of go browsing through our plentiful list of tutorials right now, trying to find that. But yeah, just give me an email later, Subdeacon. I can probably find that tutorial for you there. All right, Joseph, thank you for your compliment. Thanks for attending. Yeah, hopefully this inspired a lot of people to do a lot of cool things, because I think, you know, you can kind of think of a cool story for this like badass looking orc right here. Maybe he gets older and gets bald and has gray hair and becomes a nicer orc, you know, and loses the blood. That could be funny. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. Next question from Robert. Is it possible to morph a character from human to beast? Yeah, essentially we just did that through this webinar here. I mean, if I wanted to change my orc, look, I can easily reverse this, for example, and I can even combine. So right now, currently used. So these are all the morph sliders that we used earlier. Okay, these are all the ones that I modified earlier. Say, for example, we wanted to take this orc and make him a little bit thinner. Well, I have this token motion pack, which is pretty cool. Stylized creatures, and this one has like a goblin body. You can combine those two morphs if you want. So combine the goblin body and the orc body, and it's going to look a little bit weird. So I mean, now he's looking more like a longer arms and a bigger head, okay, and a wider chest. Yeah, you can combine these morphs in a whole bunch of different varieties. So we'll go to full body. I don't know, like Toon figures. Maybe this cartoon body base might be a cool one to combine with it. All right, that looks kind of interesting. His head is still huge, though. He lost all his muscle mass within seconds. All right, we'll keep him at the regular shape. But that's essentially, there's these whole full body presets you can use. There's tons and tons and tons of content to go through. So I don't want to waste your time just going back and forth on these things. Let's go ahead and go to the next question. Question from Peter. What's the significance of the different categories? When you were working, it was all in the head mode, and the list shows body layers too. It's a bit confusing. So I think you're talking about the SkinGen editor. So in SkinGen, yeah, there is, let's activate it one more time. There is materials for the head, materials for the body. And as I boneheadedly forgot to do earlier, I forgot to change from the arm over to the head. So it applied that normal map to the incorrect area. But yeah, so I guess what I would recommend for you, Peter, is probably watching that UI tutorial that we just did for SkinGen. I know where that one is because we just did it like last week or a couple of weeks ago. You probably just search like SkinGen UI, maybe. I'll probably pop it up. Yeah, this one right here. Basic SkinGen UI and basic operation. This one is about 20 minutes long, and it kind of outlines the entire. Let's go to here, and it outlines the entire process. Hey, ooh, there's my voice. Always fun hearing your own voice. I'll copy this and put it in the chat window for you, for those of you who don't have it. There we go. I'd recommend checking that one out, Peter, just to kind of get a hang of the different categories, where everything is, and the new UI. I know it is a bit overwhelming at first, but you can really adapt to it quickly. I think the learning curve, honestly, for SkinGen is pretty simple compared to a lot of other software out there. And I had a huge learning curve with ZBrush. I'm still terrible at it. Just a anecdotal experience there. Next question is from Sabbath. I'm curious about link control on Skin Editor. Like, I want to apply my custom tattoo to continue onto multiple parts of the body. Can you explain it a little more? Okay, that's a good question. So basically, if you want to apply a tattoo to different parts of the body, let's see, what would you do in that case? You have to have that material on both the head and the body, that texture on both the head and the body materials. And you have to make sure it's linked. So, for example, if I was to do that, iClone in here, what I would do is I would use a tool, my own custom tool. Where am I? Let's go to Skin and SkinGen tools. Like a decal. Okay, so decal is used for tattoo. I would apply the decal to both the body and the head material. The same material or the same map. Just apply it to the head and the body. Just make sure everything else is consistent. So like the decal on this, what happened to his decal on his? Didn't I have a decal on it? Oh, that's for makeup, right? Yeah, so the decal on his neck there. Yeah, just make sure it's on both the body and the head, or on the arm and the body, or and so on and so forth. I think they might have a tattoo. I haven't messed around too much with the tattoos yet, but let's try and see if we can find one. Let's go to the skin here. Tattoos are indeed acquired. I'm not sure if we have anything that goes from one to the next. Maybe this shoulder circle, but it seems like that's only on the shoulder. But like I said, what you would do is the decal on both materials and kind of combine it to the same position. I don't want to kind of bungle my way through it right now. I'm still pretty new to SkinGen, as a lot of you are as well, and I haven't messed around too much with tattoos over multiple parts of the body. But there is a tutorial on when you have DAZ characters coming in. When as you may know, DAZ characters have different meshes and different UVs than Character Creator 3 characters. So we have that DAZ tool that consolidates all of those. And I think that's in here as well. I think I just saw that actually pop up. Yeah, SkinGen. If you're a DAZ user, this is an essential tutorial for you to check out. Hey, everybody. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about the UV transfer tool, SkinGen plugin in Character Creator 3. Now, just so you're aware, this should Shut up, dude. All right. It's always fun saying shut up to yourself. I'm going to put this in the chat window for those of you who are interested. Oh, come on. There we go. And yeah, so that's all I can tell you right now, Sabbath. And I think that's probably a good idea for a future tutorial, is to apply a tattoo over multiple parts of your body just from scratch using decals. So I'll keep that in mind for future tutorials. I think a lot of other people probably want to know how that's done as well. Peter asks, is there a quick way to collapse all the layers? Well, you can't really collapse all the layers since they're up like this. They'll always be there. You can't really collapse the layers, but you can collapse all the sections here in the layer. If you press Control minus, it'll just kind of collapse it all like this. That's a pretty useful hotkey for most of you guys there. Control minus. So if I'm like, oh, what do I do with this ulcer? Swollen tissue, scab, blah. Okay, I press Control minus. Oop, it'll all pop up like that. Okay. It's on arm, not head. Someone was trying to, Edith, thank you for the tip there, Edith, at 640. I was applying the normal to the wrong material there. What a bonehead. All right, anyways, next question is from Peter here. Can this tool be used to alter the look of clothing? Like, for example, add dirt, blood, etc. Yes, it can. We haven't gotten much into outfits yet, but you can kind of do the same thing with outfits. We only have this accessory here. And the clothing. So if I, say for example, load up my, what is this pauldrons thing anyways? Oh, that's the, right. You can't really activate the appearance editor on this, unfortunately, but I'll talk about outfits a little bit later on. These ones, unfortunately, aren't compatible at this moment. There's a lot of compatibility issues every time you start a new generation of characters. So we still need to kind of play catch up with the clothing and the appearance editor. Unfortunately, but other things you can activate the appearance editor right now. But this will probably be updated in a new patch. But for now, what you can do is just the traditional way, like you just have your item, like, where is it here? Clothing should appear here. Oh. I guess I just found this out. I guess when you're in the SkinGen editor, it'll probably I guess it takes the clothing off in the content manager as well. Interesting. Okay. If it was here, you would just select it and modify the material though. Okay. Like we'd modify the eye occlusion layer. All right. So Phineas asks, can you put blood on the teeth? Yeah, definitely. You can do the blood on the teeth as well. Very similar to the way I did the blend map on the teeth. So just select it. Where am I here? Scene, teeth, select, modify. And again, they're blocked out right now because we're using the SkinGen. But if it's not blocked out, you can just you can manually add blood to these like individual teeth. If you have a lot of time, just add some blood splatter onto those teeth, or you can just change the blend map to blood red like I do, or change this map to like red and light red, so it look like regular blood. Yeah, definitely you can add blood to the teeth though, absolutely. What kind of program would it be if you can't add blood to the teeth, man? All right, anyways, next question from Albert. I asked the other webinar how to change the background image to default after changing the image to another. Hold on one sec here, let me look at this closer. How to change the background image to default after changing the image to another image, not background color, but active image. How to change it back to the default after swapping the image. So I guess you're talking about iClone here. So edit preference, or no, that's project settings. I always get those mixed up. Yes, it is in the project settings. So you can activate an image. This will be the default background image. And I've never came across that issue where I wanted to restore it back to this. Essentially what you could do is you could probably just start a new project. You can import everything into your project, or get I think what you're asking is you want to restore this gray gradient here. I believe that, Can you save this? Yeah, I think you can just save it. So just start a new project and save it as maybe on your desktop. We'll call this boring gray background. And then you'd save it to your desktop, and you can probably just reload that in at any time. If we change this to, like, I don't know, what's this slam dunk thing? Okay, luckily it's not something crazy. So if I wanted to restore it back to that, just double click it. Is it boring gray background? Boom. All right, there you go. Problem solved. So that would be the way that you would take care of that, Albert. Hopefully that answers your question. Next question is from Leon. Was there free content for the orc, or was that already included into the SkinGen pack? So the orc is actually the separate ZBrush learning videos. Now, I believe you can purchase this orc separately. Yeah, so there's the assets, the separate assets ogre. You can purchase the ogre, $20. I mean, it's basically just get the entire pack, because it's $39 for the entire thing, and each of these individual characters are $20 each. So, I mean, you're getting basically a discount if you just buy the whole thing. But there's yeah, orc here. If you're only interested in the orc, and like I said, if you're a great ZBrush artist or something, you'd have no problem with spending some time and creating this on your own, exporting the whole process and all that stuff. But if you're like a lazy bum like me, then hey, I love using bases that I can modify, I guess. Yeah, so that's Leon. That's the answer for that. They are available for separate purchase, but I would probably just if you have $40 to spare, just go for that, the whole thing, because it has 66 videos on the whole process of modifying in ZBrush and Marmoset and Substance Designer and all sorts of stuff. So I highly recommend it. Just don't drink Starbucks for a week or two. Nothing against Starbucks. Next question is from Frank. Can you animate any of the SkinGen parameters in iClone? No, unfortunately, iClone, you can't do that in iClone. You can't make the blood splatter move on the face, I don't believe. I'm just trying to think. I've never tried to do that. I mean, technically, you may be able to do that, but it wouldn't look good, because what you would do is you'd be changing the position of the... I mean, if you put a blend map with blood splatter on it, you could technically, I guess, change the position of that blend map. But no, I don't think so. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's, I've been asked that before, actually. Can you make blood like drip down the head? And what would need to be done is something that iClone doesn't really have is like the water effects. Something like Houdini, excuse me, is excellent at doing stuff like that. But unfortunately, we haven't gotten the liquid stuff taken care of yet in iClone. So we'll have to export your character to a different tool like Houdini and get that realistic blood flowing down the eyebrows or whatever. All right, so hopefully that answers your question there, Frank. Unfortunately not. Next question is from Tito. Will the 10% coupon I will get for taking the survey on Monday be able to apply to the SkinGen purchase? So this is for the content store. So you will be able to purchase this stuff at 10% off. But I don't believe, I think the software store, the SkinGen is found in the software store. So unfortunately, that's not going to be available for that particular item. Yeah, it'll be in the software store. So anything in the content store, but not the software store, unfortunately. I do believe that, yeah, the plugins in the software store. The content store, it's all yours. So you can get, I'm just thinking of that ZBrush pack in the content store. ZBrush. No, this is a separate as well, unfortunately. But if you just want the ogre by itself, yeah, I can get the 10% off. I mean, it's $2 off of the ogre for sure. So hopefully that answers your question there, Tito. Next question is from Paul. I have CC3 SkinGen and iClone, I can export, blah, 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 blah. I can export from CC3 Plus and iClone, but when I try to add animation in iClone, I need to export through 3D Exchange, and it does not export the SkinGen shaders. It does export an FBX on the HDD, but without the CC3 Plus textures. So yeah, that's a pickle. And I've never come across that. So basically what Paul's asking is he can export the characters to 3D Exchange, but 3D Exchange won't support the SkinGen shader just yet. And that's definitely something that we need to make compatible. But the workaround for now would be you just export the emotions separately without the material, without the character. You can just export the animation rig separately, and then you can consolidate that. So, for example, if you were taking it into something like Unreal, what you would do is you would just export the FBX from Character Creator 3 and import that into Unreal. Get your character all rigged up in Unreal, which is easy with the auto setup, and then you would import in that animation separately. So yeah, that'd be the workaround for now. But yeah, that's a good point, Paul. Unfortunately, if you're taking the actual character through 3D Exchange, then that would get rid of the SkinGen shaders. It wouldn't support that, unfortunately. But you can wait. You might be able to just bake everything. Let me think. I haven't actually done this since SkinGen came to be, so I think possibly, I don't know. I'm gonna refrain from commenting on that right now. But what you could do is hopefully you could bake the texture maps. I'm just gonna see here really quick. No, I'll refrain from commenting on that right now. Maybe email me a little bit later, but I don't think it. I think it should be fine. But that's the workaround, anyways. Obviously, you're saying it doesn't work for you, so I'll take your word on it because I haven't done that yet. Next question is from Frank again. Sorry about that. Sorry for the kind of non-answer there, but if you have SkinGen, why would you still use the older methods like Substance Appearance Editor? So Substance Appearance Editor, it's like a dynamic editor. You can, it's like, you know, Substance itself, the Substance tool itself, you can be a lot more creative. There's a lot more parameters, a lot more things you can modify. And Substance, you can also keyframe as well. So for example, if you take your jacket, for example, you export into iClone, uses a substance material, you can animate that substance material. So you can actually see your jacket getting older and older as the timeline goes on. That's one really good thing about Substance. But you know, traditional methods like just exporting the base map or the color map and all that stuff, they all have their own place. Obviously, SkinGen is probably the most comprehensive tool, has the most options and the layers and all that stuff. But I mean, other ways also have their time in the sun as well. I'm just trying to think what kind of scenario I would do something like that. Yeah, I can't really, nothing pops to mind right now, but you know, if one fails, it's always good to have a backup plan too, right? So obviously SkinGen would be the tool of choice, but then going on to probably a Substance is excellent as well, especially for, you know, procedural, we need procedural textures. Yeah, I would use Substance. But yeah, each has their own time and place, Frank, I guess. I can't really think of any specific scenarios right now. Okay, so Jason asks, do the standard eye or material have to use digital human eye shader or just the cornea? So like I mentioned earlier, the eye structure is a little bit annoying sometimes in iClone and Character Creator, particularly because we've changed it like 3 times over the last few years. So and still some characters have the old, you know, the old school one. Let's go to iClone here. Let's select the eyes. So basically the standard eye, don't worry about this at all. You don't really even need this. The cornea is the one that really has all the effects on it. The standard eye is just part of the structure. It's part of like the mesh basically. But the cornea here is what you want to focus on, and you want to make sure this is digital human eye. That's very important. This standard base eye, whatever, it doesn't really matter too much about it. You know, if we even just you know, this is left eye. Okay, left eye. We took the strength off on that. It has like absolutely no difference if we have this diffuse map or not. No difference whatsoever. If we take it up, strength up, and go to opacity, literally no difference whatsoever. So it's just kind of part of the structure of the eye. But when you're modifying the appearance of the eye, you want to make sure you have the cornea materials. That's what you want to modify. All right. Hopefully that makes that clear. Let's go on to the next question. All right. Tony says, character looks great. Cool. The process seems to have added more than 1 GB to the memory. What would you do to reduce the size to enable multiple use of multiple characters in iClone? So there's a number of different things you can do, Tony, to reduce the size of your character. The first and foremost, the first one that comes to my mind is you can go to your Insta-LOD tool up here. This is again with the pipeline version of Character Creator, and you can reduce the polygons on your character's wearables if you have the character selected, not the teeth. Yeah, there's you can the remesher, and you can reduce the polygon of elements and objects. So you could reduce the polygon count. That is probably the biggest, will probably have the biggest difference. Other ways you could reduce your resources your character takes up would be to just kind of put less clothing, I guess, on the character. You can also, what is it here? Link the materials as well. So, gosh, you know, I haven't done this in ages. You're really testing me here. Where is it to link textures? Yeah, this option down here. Sorry, there's one to link the textures. You can embed the texture as well. That'll kind of save a little bit of space. But some, you know, for example, some items might use the same texture maps, like the tattoo, for example, the tattoo for the head and the tattoo for the body. You know, if it was on both, you could use that. You could use the same texture map, and it would link them. So you see this one like little link thing, little chain in the bottom left there. That means this material or this texture map is linked with another material, and another material is using that, and they're all basically referring to the same texture. So there's not a separate texture for each material. They're all basically using one single texture map. They're all just linking to that same one. And I think it's like somewhere around here. Oh man, it's been ages. Save material plus. Yeah, I'll be able to figure it out sometime. Consolidate materials, I think this one here is you have to like select multiple ones, and this seems familiar anyways, but anyways, we'll we'll just skip that for now. But it is somewhere to be found in this area here. And I think there may be something that I need to do first, like make sure they're all similar textures or something like that. Oh, the linking is down here. Maybe it's just because of this. Yeah, these are definitely the linking options here. I'm not sure why they're disabled. Oh, there we go, because they had no texture maps. So this is where you would link them, right here. So click here, auto link selected textures. So what that would do is that would search. So if you have, like, you know, for example, this digital human eye cornea, the select one, this one here, both these selected, and we select this base color, we would link it like this, or maybe it's just automatically does it if you select one. Let's give this a shot. Auto link selected textures. Yeah, so I think this what this would do is this would link the base color map for the cornea left and cornea right. And I fully expect to have a little chain link on the bottom left up here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so they're shared. All right, so this one right here, now they're using the same texture map. So base color here, and you'll see it on the cornea right as well. All right, and you can do the same thing for the glow map if you wanted to, since we use the glow map for both of them as well. All right, so you see the linkage on the glow map there, and it'll be the same for cornea left. That's another thing you can do to reduce. I mean, this is obviously very marginal, but if you have lots of materials in your scene, that's going to have a very significant effect by linking everything. Just making sure everything is optimized in terms of texture map linking. I'm going to take that activate image off there because this looks much cooler. All right, next question, Mr. M. What is the correct workflow to adjust subdivision? I tried to smooth mesh in the modify panel, and it only seems to appear in real time, but cannot export through FBX. So I think you're talking about iClone here, and this is the feature in iClone. Let's see, with our character selected, this option over here, we have tessellation and subdivision. So yeah, again, this will basically affect your character in iClone. So this is one way you can increase, the usage. So notice that your project triangle now is 454,000. Whereas if I take it back to the original, it's like 113,000. All right. So yeah, the subdivision, definitely one way to increase your resource usage, but it also makes everything smoother and does subdivision on your character. The rest is all done in character creator there. So character creator, you can export your character and increase the poly count in other programs as well. Insta LOD is a way to adjust this as well. Merge material, you saw that as well. And here you can increase or decrease texture size. I think that's what you're getting at there, Mr. M, in the modify panel. Oh no, I think maybe you're talking in the modify panel, maybe you're talking about this one right here. Smooth mesh. Oh yeah, okay, so I thought you were talking about iClone. Anyways, that's a way to do it in iClone using this option here. I kind of got turned around there, but in character creator, yeah, this smooth mesh is just used for rendering in character creator only. This one right here. If you want to change the mesh, you go to edit mesh and do all the modifications there, but that smooth mesh is really only just for character creator. Okay, we'll go to the next question then. Hopefully that answered that one. Anonymous attendee, do you have some contest in mind for where we can try our best and win your software? Actually, yeah, we do have a contest. I think maybe my assistant here could put the contest link in the chat window. There's a contest for cartoon animator. It's not for a character creator, but cartoon animator, and you can win some software with that. Let's see if it's on our main page here. Is it here? Oh, Animation at Work. Here we go. Yeah, so this is the one. Highly encourage you to check this out if you're into 2D at all. I'll throw this in the chat window for you. You can win some free software with this. A bunch of free stuff actually. The prizes, you can see there's a lot of cool prizes here. You get tablets, you get laptops, all kinds of stuff. Artist 3D 13 Pro, Artist 24 Pro. Haven't really looked at this yet actually, but there's a whole bunch of different ones. And also DA points, 50,000 DA points. That's like $500 for, yeah, $500 for content. So that's a lot of content you can buy with $500. Yeah, these are the prizes and so on and so forth. So check that out. You can win some stuff there. Brennan asks, are there any plans to allow for skeleton mesh import into CC3 for things like rigged capes, etc.? Oh, good question. I'm not entirely sure if you can import like the complex skeletal mesh. I know you can import a prop with a skeletal mesh, but whether or not you can modify that skeletal mesh in Character Creator 3, I don't believe so. Yeah, something like, why did I edit the mesh here? Something like this item on our character, for example. If we go to our scene manager, no, this won't have a skeletal mesh. So I would say tentatively, I would say you cannot do that right now. I know if you import some things in, they'll have like a bone, but I'm just trying to think of stuff that you can import in with bones and whatnot. I'll have to get back to you on that one. But yeah. Yeah, it appears that yeah, I don't think the bone import will work. I can't find any items that might be able to test that theory, but I'll just say no for now to be safe. So apologies for that, Brennan. Maybe you can email me later and I can get into more detail with that. My email, by the way, is kai@revolution.com, kai@revolution.com, in case you're not aware, in case anyone wants to hit me up. Next question from Edith McNeil. What's the name of that tune pack? I think maybe you're talking about the tune pack on the morphs I was looking at earlier. These ones. Oh man, it is called. Too many things in my head right now. It's called Tune. I think you just type in like Revolution Tune Pack, basically. Here we go. Tune figures. Yeah, character creator designer tune figures. I'll throw this in the chat window for you guys. These are some really good, really popular bases. I think this is one of our best sellers actually, because a lot of people want to create characters like this. So I'd recommend picking this up if you get a chance for sure. Very, very good pack. Contains a lot of bases. Contains a lot of textures as well, and also some SkinGen presets. So it is compatible with. You have some SkinGen presets in there as well, I do believe. And yeah, pretty cool stuff. There's also some other ones from other developers as well, like this one from CG Artifacts, for example. Pick that up. And the list goes on and on. I hope that's the one you're looking for, Edith. If not, just let me know. Thanks, Romain. Thanks for being with us today and for sticking with us, sticking with me through all the trials and tribulations of applying things to the wrong material. Next question is from Peter. What pack did you get the horns from? Yeah, it's a very cool pack. It's called the Dark Cider. Imagine if I search for it in the content store, I'd be able to find it. Dark Cider. Not the cider that you drink, but this one here. Yeah, really cool armor. This is a super cool pack. I think we launched this late last year. Or was it early this year? But super cool pack. This one has both of them. So I'll throw the link for this in the chat window for you guys. Really cool pack. Oh, someone already put it there. Right? Right, we put it's double added into the chat window then. All right. Question from Phineas. What's the with the Dragon Pack special? Is it possible to add injuries to the dragon, dirt, etc.? Yeah, absolutely. You won't add them in SkinGen because we don't have SkinGen for quadrupeds yet. That's maybe in the pipeline though. It's coming up in the pipeline, but you can add it definitely the traditional way in adding blend maps in Character Creator or in iClone. Okay, next question from Peter. Can you recommend another program that will make a normal map like you did with Photoshop? Oh gosh, 3D Coat. I've used that often in the past. Substance Designer can make normal maps. Those are basically the top two. I'm not sure if GIMP can do it. Maybe someone who uses GIMP would be able to fill me in on that. But GIMP is obviously just the free Photoshop, essentially. It's like the Blender of Photoshop. And I recommend taking a look at it. It's a bit slow sometimes, but I mean, if you're on a budget, GIMP is definitely the way to go for sure. And I'm not sure if it can create the normal maps that way though. I'm pretty sure you can probably do it, but I won't comment any further on that since I don't know for sure. Okay, so Brendan asks, with the GoZ plugin, when the subtool is imported, the draw size for the brushes are quite small at 100%. Have you experienced or found a solution for this? To be honest, I'm not a ZBrush artist. I know how to technically use it. But when I was experimenting with it, that was basically when it first came out, the GoZ plugin. I didn't notice anything about the brush sizes. But Brendan, what I would recommend doing is maybe checking out our forums, and you can. There's a lot of people that spend a lot of time doing that sort of stuff. I'll find out where to put it in the forums here. So you would probably want to look in character creator down here. Maybe in the general area, you can put a question in there. Technical issues, you could probably put a question in there. And we have a very nice, very great community of people, users in our forums here. A lot of them are really happy to help. They have a lot of time. A lot of them are experienced artists. But I would probably recommend checking out the forums and getting your answer there. Let me just put that link in the chat window for you guys in case you need it. Forum.revolution.com. I say that almost at the end of every tutorial, or I try to anyways. We got a lot of cool people. Oh, and looks like someone named Paul Arian put a GIMP tutorial for a normal map in the chat window. So I forget who was asking that, but if you want to learn how to make the normal maps in GIMP, thank you, Paul, for doing that. In the chat window, Paul put a YouTube link for a GIMP tutorial on how to make a normal map. So I guess it can do the exact same thing as Photoshop. And you save yourself like $10 a month. Hey. All right. Yeah, so sorry about that, Brendan, but I would recommend checking the forums for more details on that. Next question is from Phineas. Can you do a tutorial on how to export CC3 character into Houdini for the liquid effects like blood? Yeah, that would be an awesome tutorial. I haven't used Houdini for ages though, but I could probably get up to snuff on it. But yeah, I think that's a really good idea because I haven't been asked that. I mean, that's one of the first things people asked when SkinGen came out. Like, yeah, sure, you got blood, but can the blood drip? You know, so unfortunately, not. So yeah, Houdini would be something that would make great accompaniment to that effect. Next question is from Peter here. Do you know if iClone will be able to make the skin move with animation in the future? The skin move. Right now, spring is the only thing I know of. Spring effects, yeah, you can have spring bones on your character. Animating your skin, I mean, you can animate the skin if it uses like substance materials, but the current skin, I mean, it's limited to the ways you can animate it. If you want to find out if you can animate something, the easiest way to do it is just to select that item like this, or whatever item you want, and anything that is green you can animate. So you can animate the diffuse color. For example, if I wanted his the color of this armor to change from one point to the next, I can animate that, change the color from one point to the next. I can also make it light up. You can see the armor will light up, and I can animate that effect as well. I can add or reverse refraction or reflection. But all the parameters that are white, you can't animate those. But all the parameters that are green, you can. All right. Hopefully that's clear. But yeah, certain skins can be animated using substance materials. Your character looks, Carson is the next question. Your character looks like it's over 132K. How small could you make this character for export into iClone? And would it be good for close-ups? So Carson, to answer that question, I kind of teased you a little bit on the remesher tool. So what you would do is you would select your character and do the remesher, and you can set the max texture size here. Where are we? Insta LOD over here. Yep. So we can set our max. We can set the remesher targets over here as well, which is pretty cool. You can set your mesh detail to low, high, whatever. You can change the number of Insta LOD meshes, and so on and so forth for different items like this horn, for example. If I want to reduce the polygon on the outfit, I can change that amount by the percentage or by face count. So that's another way you do that. Okay, so keep that in mind. Insta LOD comes with the pipeline version, so I recommend picking it up. Hopefully that answers your question there, Carson. We do have tutorials. For anyone who's not aware, we have a learning center for character creator. Let's find it. Man, Revolution opens a lot of pages, eh? Let's go to learn. Every product page of ours basically has a learn section here, and you can go to tutorials. There's online manuals. I'm pretty sure you've been here because you're probably into webinars, but yeah, all the tutorials can be found here for Character Creator. I'll put that in the chat window. And there's definitely one for Insta LOD somewhere down here. Would it be pipeline? It'll be in here somewhere. Optimization and fixing. This should be the one here. Okay, yeah, this one is probably good. Material generation. Oh, it's man, I'm blind as a bat. Right here, there's a few Insta LOD ones right here. All right, you'll find them eventually, like me. Maybe you have better vision than I do. Thanks, Colin, for the compliment. Thanks for attending today. And keep your eye out for new tutorials for Character Creator as well, or for SkinGen. I'm going to be doing tutorials for that probably for the next month or so. So Dana asks, how can you create clothing for characters, which is recommended? There is a good clothing. Good thing we're on the tutorial page. There is a good tutorial for creating your own clothing. And where is it? Creating clothing from OBJ files right here. All right. So this is probably the best tutorial for creating clothing from OBJ files you can import into your character. Just follow the workflow in this one. You should be good. Another way you can do that is check out that ZBrush learning resources video. They have some stuff in there about that as well. And it's in a lot more detail, like 66 videos, and some of them are like 20 minutes. So, hey man, it's your life. You're gonna be listening to Eddie a lot, and I've actually watched them myself. So you know, but there's a lot of detail in there as well. So that's the tutorial for you there, Dana. Question from David. You didn't talk about UV transfer. Can you transfer DAZ 3D skin textures with it rather than tattoos and makeup? Yeah, you can. Basically, anything from DAZ you can transfer over. You just use the same maps. Let's say use UV transfer tool as the tutorial I linked before. Hope that answers your question there, David. Question from Vane. Thanks for attending, Vane. That's awesome. Glad it was helpful for you. Let's see. Okay, great. Yeah, there's a long paragraph there. I just had to read through it. Thanks so much for attending. Not really a question. I'm really happy that I can help you guys out with this. And as you can see, I'm kind of learning in the process too. I'm by no means the perfect demo artist for a lot of things, but you know, try my best. Question from Peter: the jiggle of the skin with the walk, for example. Oh, so I think you're talking about the earlier skin animation thing. Yeah, we have that for certain characters, like breast bones, for example, breast spring bones. But I think maybe you're talking about like love handles or something. I don't think we're able to do that. You can try and customize your character. I've never actually been confronted with a question about can you make your love handles jiggle in iClone. Gosh. I don't believe so, unless it's embedded into the character. Yeah, and that would require you to model the character and let me think. Have I seen that happen? No, I'm going to say no for now because the character would need to be customized. But you can add, you know, spring bones. I'm just thinking within the mesh of your character, probably not. But of course, you can add, you know, antennas or tails that spring. But I don't think you'd be able to make your actual characters like love handles, for example, jiggle around like Homer Simpson or something. Would be great though. You can do it with blend shapes. You can do it with the morphing, but not with bones. So if you wanted to, for example, create a jiggle as the character was walking, you would have to animate it manually using the morph shapes, but you wouldn't be able to do it automatically with the bone, as far as I know. Okay, question from anonymous attendee. Do you have a tutorial on to export and import multiple animations from iClone and build them in Unreal? Absolutely, we do. I did a whole tutorial series a while back. I think it's in the iClone section here about exporting to Unreal. And we have a very good pipeline with Unreal that works fantastic. Tutorials here, it'll be under pipeline. Yeah, Unreal, there you go. So we have a whole series on exporting materials, animations, props, and everything into Unreal. Check those out. Sophinius asks, how would you add wings or a tail to a CC3 character? You just add them in as accessories, essentially. So you can import in any prop and just add it as an accessory to your character. Like, well, I don't know. We're in iClone, content. What's the weirdest prop I can find to add to our characters? 3D block, I don't know, we'll add an arc to this dude. So you can just click and drag it in from iClone if you want. You can also use the create option there. Where is it? Probably down there. No, it's way back there. And zoop. Let's bring it over here. And over here. I mean, it doesn't really matter the position of it, actually. But what you would just do is like save it as an accessory. Maybe I would want to resize it. Let's give him a little Pope hat. This is like the weirdest looking orc I have ever seen in my life. What does that remind you of? I don't know. Okay, so then you just save it as an accessory. So go to your content. Sorry about all the fandangling there. And accessory over here. And then save it under, if you want it to be a head accessory, you know, we should be able to save that. We have to, maybe it has to be, no. Yeah. I guess maybe you can't import it. Someone maybe can help me with that. That's how you're supposed to do it, right? Create accessory. Yeah, I guess you have to do it through this method probably. Create accessory and then just import it in through there. I guess you can't just click and drag it in and slide it. I thought you would be able to do that, but yeah. So you just find the basically the same file and just import it as an accessory, and then there you go. So no clicking and dragging it, unfortunately. Alrighty. Thanks so much for being with us, Edith. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Ray, for creating your own custom hair in CC3, you have to model that hair. So I think I showed last webinar all the stuff we have in the content store in terms of hair. We got some really cool hair stuff in the content store. Just go to character creator and hair. There's at least 100 different types of hair you can throw in there. Okay, so again, some of this cool stuff from developers Swan 3D and other stuff by Relusion, Pixtim. Okay, we're getting more and more hair models in all the time because, you know, we want more unique characters. So we have developers that are doing all this sort of stuff. So it's all available in the content store, Ray, or you can also just model it yourself. All right, so last question from Brennan, and then we'll kind of call it quits here, I think. When importing a CC3 game base into 3ds Max, I found that the bone rotation is 90 degrees off rotation, which results in the IK elbow target having to be in the wrong location. Brennan, the only not even possibly a fix, but the only thing I can suggest to you, because I haven't used 3ds Max and gosh, it's been dog years, it's been ages since I used 3ds Max. When you export your character to FBX, obviously just make sure that the character is using the 3ds Max preset up here. Target tool preset for 3ds Max. I don't think there's an option in this particular one to rotate the axis, but I think when you export from 3D Exchange, there's an option to export the axis, but not, or sorry, rotate the axis or adjust that position, but not in Character Creator, it seems. But yeah, from Character Creator, just make sure you have the target tool preset set to 3ds Max. And let's see, invert. Oh, maybe sync root and hip motion might help you out here. And again, this is under settings there. But when you choose the preset, it should do it automatically when you choose the preset. So, but if none of them work, you can also try the axis and adjustments up here as well in the advanced settings. So that's the only thing I can really recommend there for you. All right, so thanks everyone so much for attending. We're going to call it a day there, and always keep in remember to fill out that survey for us to get 10% of the content store, and give us any feedback on future topics you want for more webinars. I'd be happy to follow up on any of those suggestions. So yeah, thanks so much for everyone that attended today. Had a great time, and hopefully you like the orc character. And yeah, stay tuned for the tutorials on the YouTube channel. And yeah, adios. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And see you next time.